Good morning everyone, welcome to this week's weekly outlook. It is Tuesday. Let me know if you have a preference. I think I may start uploading on Tuesdays instead, just to let the Monday play out, because Mondays usually don't have much price action to work with and sets the tone for the rest of the week. So it may be best for these to be on a Tuesday, so we have a bit more to go with. So anyway, to the charts. Top down analysis as usual. Let's start off here on the monthly. All right, monthly picture doesn't change much, so if you've watched my previous videos you should know this pretty well. Okay, so what's the monthly look like for those who are new to the channel? We have our most recent bullish leg, right? So we have from this low here to this high here is our bullish dealing range, right? So what I've done is we have the discount, right, from this low to this high. I've highlighted the discount in blue. Okay, so we mitigated this bullish imbalance here, created that bullish dealing range, that bullish leg, and we came into resistance at this bearish imbalance and order block here, right, taking the buy side liquidity from above these highs here as well. All right, so at the moment price looks to be stalling and possibly forming a top after reaching this point. What would make sense for me on this monthly high time frame, in the long term of course, because these are monthly candles, is that we could enter a possible pullback stage. We haven't started that yet really, I haven't confirmed it. All right, we had this nice high test doji up here, took some buy side liquidity, but price reversed somewhat and has stayed at these highs. So we have draws on liquidity at this discount. We have this bullish imbalance here, right, this green box, which is also overlapped with this BPR zone here, which is formed from an up close imbalance and down close imbalance. Okay, so we have good draws on liquidity here, just at the top of this discount. Okay, so that would be the first zone that I could see price coming to as a draw on liquidity. Okay, so nice, short and sweet and obvious. I'm expecting, as price usually does, move back down to a discount towards the draws on liquidity. So that's what I see in the long term. Okay, so we just need to see if the lower time frame pictures will match up with that, or if price is ready to do that yet. So let's go down to the weekly. Let's see if that matches up and how it looks. As you'll notice from my note here, I don't believe the weekly is the clearest at the moment. We was in a clear bullish trend, right, until we got to this point here where we mitigated that monthly imbalance, took that buy side liquidity here and began to make some sort of bearish move. Now in terms of dealing range, in terms of the leg we're currently within, I see it as this low here to this high up here. Okay, so we are still within a bullish dealing range that we established previously, right, last year with the highs in September. Price has stayed within that range currently, and for me it's unclear because it is pretty much ranging at this point. Just before the end of the year in December we did leave this bullish imbalance here, but price has violated that so far. Okay, so last week I did want to see if we was going to respect this imbalance here, but we have not. However, we still have this order block zone here with a really small imbalance. I'll zoom in just so we can see it a bit more clearly. There is an imbalance between these two candles here. So zooming back away from that for the time being, imbalance in order block. So price may respect this zone here. So why it's unclear to me is because we have this trend line liquidity going on here, even down to this low, but this sort of rounded low resistance liquidity low here that price could still come for, because remember the monthly vision is to come down into this discount zone here towards these draws on liquidity. So the weekly could follow that plan, right? Or it could continue its bullish structure and continue going higher, coming for these highs here, maybe even these highs here, right? But I can't really tell at the moment because I can see both ways and we've been ranging for a while here. I don't get much bias from the weekly at the moment. I'll have to see some more development. So it's more than likely I'm going to be relying on the daily here for my higher time frame bias in the near term at least. Okay, so let's go down to the daily. Let's see what this looks like for day trading. So let's run through the daily briefly. Okay, our recent daily trend is bullish quite clearly, right? We broke structure around this point here, created that high and continue to create those higher highs, right? Not just the structure alone of higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, we was clearly creating those, right, around these points here, but also the fact that we are respecting bullish PDAs. Both of those things together create bullish order flow. So as I said over here, daily order flow is bullish. So we have the possibility to continue a market maker buy model. So our potential market maker buy model target overall is up at these highs here at 19188. So let's explain that concept again for those who may not know. We had a previous market maker sell model, right? So it forms this type of triangle formation where we have this low to this high, which is the turning point where price started reversing, respecting bearish order flow and creating bearish structures. And then we expect price to come and complete the sell model by coming back down to these lows. However, as you can see from this message here, the market maker sell model was incomplete, right? DXY divergence took place and price reversed. Okay, so the divergence on its own wouldn't invalidate the market maker sell model until price proves it by, of course, changing order flow, which it has done here. Right, you can see it's respected this divergence here from this bullish BPR, and then we created a structure here, then respected another bullish imbalance zone here, and then went on to create higher highs and bullish order flow, as you can see. So this sell model triangle, so just to show you with DXY, this high was complete by this high, right, where it's market maker buy model from here to here to here was complete. Okay, whereas on EU we did not complete that formation and price reversed, which is fine. So now we look to be continuing that bullish order flow. We have this potential market maker buy model. What price did, price created this sell side curve here, bearish order flow, and now we're hoping for bullish order flow to continue, right, hitting these targets all the way up to the potential market maker buy model target, which price doesn't have to complete, but that is where we expect price to be drawn towards. Okay, so in most recent price action now, you can see we've had some sort of bearish pullback here. Right, we took buy side liquidity, took out the sell side liquidity into a bullish PDA again. So we had this order block here, right, and imbalance. We violated the imbalance. I would have loved to have seen a bullish candle formation after this low test. However, we didn't, so it is a bit suspect, these lows. But so far from yesterday now, we had a bullish closeout, so perhaps we will continue. But there was this bearish imbalance here that price has closed out respecting on the daily. So we do need more development, but so far price has not flipped to a bearish structure, in my opinion, at this moment. We'll have to see for these lows to go and price to start creating that bearish order flow. So I hope that's not confusing. At the moment, I'm still working on the model of a potential market maker buy model, and this fractal high here will be my draw of liquidity for the next week or two, right, if we make it there. But that will be my draw of liquidity overall from this most recent structure, because this will be a buy model fractal, which I'll show on the lower time frame. So our bullish PDA still remains here, but it's not well respected at the moment. We've come down to the last candle of the order block, okay, and we did leave behind a bearish PDA above, and we even closed out respecting the midline. So we shall see where price goes. We are early in the year. We will see what trend continues. This break of structure here is more of a trap formation for me, because we left this sell side liquidity low right above a bullish PDA. Okay, so that's why I'm not seeing this as a flip in structure just yet. So let's go down to the lower time frame. Let's see what that looks like for us, and if it clears up any direction for us to trade. So having this brief look here on the 4-hour lower time frame, our recent order flow, again, of course, due to the daily, is bearish because of that daily bearish pullback, or at least pullback for now. It means the 4-hour will have trended bearish. Okay, so again, there's that potential sell side curve down here. We have lots of low resistance highs here as well for price to target if we do continue bullish after this. Right, so our bullish potential hasn't ended just yet here on the 4-hour. You can see we've created this low and we had a bullish expansion from here, as I said previous day yesterday, leaving behind bullish PDAs, right? So we have this bullish imbalance with order block here on the 4-hour. Price is now pulling back down to this discount, and my next steps are to see how we respect this discount zone here, right? Because if this zone does get respected and the lower time frames, 1 hour and 15, do start creating bullish order flow, then we get our next fractal high to aim for, which is hit. So on the 4-hour daily, the overall fractal market maker buy model triangle is here, right? Again, like on the daily with the larger price action, we have this high here, we have this low here if it becomes a turning point, and then we'll have this origin point here again where we have our buy side curve, right, to target. Okay, and then what we'll see here if we respect this zone, right, is a sell side curve and then a buy side curve. Okay, so we'll have another triangle here, which will be more visible on the M15 and maybe 1 hour. So that's what we'll be looking for trading. So I think the 4-hour is quite self-explanatory. We are in a bearish trend currently. We do need to see bullish order flow come into the market, and the first signs of that would be a respect of this zone here. So in saying that, let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. Let's see how that is looking so far. From that daily expansion yesterday and that 4-hour bullish leg that you could see, the 1 hour is showing a bit more of a bullish bias, right? We broke structure around here, albeit during Asia. Asia did not form a range yesterday, right? Which is not typical. So Asia was a big expansion on Monday, but it did break above these previous highs here. So that gave us a bullish leg to work with. So the leg I'm looking at for the hourly is from this low here to this high. No matter which way you draw that leg, whether you do it from this low to this high, either way, this becomes a discount. So you can see I've got this line here to show the discount. All right, we've got a clear and obvious 1 hour and 4-hour imbalance there, and our order block at the lows here. Price has now pulled back since yesterday after taking the buy side liquidity around this area here. We have pulled back down towards this imbalance and order block zone. So we expect price to move from liquidity to an imbalance and imbalance to a liquidity. So as I showed on the 4-hour, we look to now be creating a possible sell side curve, and if price then bottoms out in this leg and starts breaking higher, we expect that buy side curve to be created, targeting that fractal high, completing a market maker buy model. As price creates these dealing ranges and internal liquidity, we look for price to bottom out or top out if we're looking for sell models, and then we trade the other side of the curve back up to that origin point, to that high, to that fractal sell, buy side or sell side liquidity. Right, so that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for the order flow to continue as bullish here on the hourly, right? Because we had that bullish dealing range from this low to this high up here. Right, so now we've got this internal liquidity being created during this pullback phase, and then we look for price to reverse within this zone here to trade back up towards these highs, and this high will be my draw of liquidity for the day. So in comparison to the higher liquidity targets up here, which may be for the week or two. So I hope that's clear. I know I'm giving out a lot of information. So need price to respect this area. You can see where we've swept that Asia sell side liquidity. However, with this imbalance below, I do see price coming lower for more sell side liquidity. Maybe it'll trap some early buyers in here, and we'll take that some more sell side liquidity there before reversing. So let's go down to the M15 and look at that in more detail. So this would be the type of price action I'm looking for today, right? How I would be trading for today. Now you can see how we've been respecting our bearish PDAs around these zones here, right, and continued to down into this point. I'm just pointing out the obvious imbalances here, but of course there'll be other imbalances and order blocks within this that price respected. So now what we want is for price to come into this zone here, like I said, create some low, sweep that sell side liquidity, and then start creating order flow for us to find our entries on towards these highs here. So as this note says, I'm going to need more lower time frame order flow to confirm that bullish order flow has entered the market, and a pullback to discount and bullish PDA to hold, so which is this zone here. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'll be trading today. If we get this, I don't want to be shorting into this zone here, of course. So all of this low resistance buy side liquidity here is what I would target, right? If price turns around, I don't want to be selling into these zones here because that's more riskier. So back up to the daily, just to conclude this video. I hope it was clear. I explained a lot about the market maker model fractals, right, that we're trading, that I'm looking for, and hopefully that was helpful. Any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week.